So here's a quick post that backs up the notion that pretty much the most powerful thing a guy can always do is walk away, or in a situation if he's married, divorce the wife when she's pushed him too far. And in this one here, this guy's been married and with kids and hasn't had any loving for 13 years. After his youngest was born, the wife had no interest in the SCX. They've gone to therapy. He's tried everything he could to rekindle things. Nope, no interest. And so finally now that the kids are about to be out of the house, he's done. And all of a sudden, magically, she is wide open, no pun intended, and is willing to do anything and everything to keep him interested and stay married to her, even though she could have done this all this time. But you're also going to see, this guy's no saint. He's had multiple affairs during the time period because she wasn't giving him any. And he even wondered at one point, which I found out in the comment section, that if we don't start doing things, I may end up having an affair. And again, she didn't care. So he's no saint, but this goes to show in how she responds when she sees he's serious. Title: Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my wife after our youngest goes to college? And a shout out to my man Joseph for sending me this. It says here, my wife, a 50-year-old female, changed after the kids were born. It's like she hated me. She hated my presence. The SCX life was pretty much non-existent after our youngest was born. So it was non-existent pretty much for a bit and then became completely not happening. I haven't had SCX with my wife in 13 years. For 3 years, I tried everything. We went to therapy, but nothing changed. So I just accepted my fate. I did start cheating casually after 3 years in dead bedroom, which never really fulfilled me, so I had 3 full-blown affairs. Smack! Not cool, you should have just divorced her. Okay, believe me, in that unhappy environment between you and the wife, I guarantee the kids knew exactly how unhappy you were, and they may think that's just how marriages are, and probably the damage is done, and one day they'll have relationships just like that. Now, it ain't cool to cheat, but I can see why you cheated, but it ain't cool, and you should have ended it with her. But watch this. That has been my life. I've been leading a double life for the past decade. I didn't divorce her because I didn't want my kids raised by another man. We did make very good parents, just not good husband and wife. Well, by being an unhappy husband and wife, while you've been may have been attentive to your kids and there for them and all that, as roommates, because that's what you were, business partners, still, those kids darn well can tell. Okay, I've known kids of divorced parents, and believe me, they knew that their parents are miserable. And interestingly, these kids end up in bad marriages themselves. It's happened when these kids have grown up that I've known. No joke. So now my son is 17. I think it's a good time to leave, so I confessed to my wife about all my affairs and asked for a divorce. She was apparently very hurt by it, which surprised by it because I could have bet my kidneys that she was planning to leave me too. After the initial shock, she changed. Now suddenly her libido is through the roof and she wants to F me every day. Well, she may also want to F you in court every day forever if you're not careful. She's become very affectionate. She does not want me to leave, and she's promised me all the SCX I want. Well, at this point, he doesn't want it. He wants to be away from her. But I don't really love her. She is somehow blaming me for not telling her that the SCX was so important to me. My bad. Maybe I should have taken her to therapy regarding SCX. Wait a minute, I effing did that. Right. He went to therapy and tried everything. And in the comments section, he mentions at some point that he even told her, look, if we don't do something, eventually I'm probably going to cheat. And again, she didn't care. So now she doesn't want to be alone and trying to keep him. Nope, not cool. But he's no saint either by having the affairs, and I'm going to call him on that. Not that it matters anymore. I stopped loving her years ago. She wants me to go to therapy now. I think it's a little too late. Am I the a-hole? Well, you're not the a-hole for wanting out. I don't blame you at all for doing that. But you are the a-hole that you are having multiple affairs. That just ain't cool. And I guarantee you the kids are going to learn that, and the kids from her are going to resent you for that. I'm willing to bet you it's going to happen, because that's all they're going to hear is dad was cheating on mom lots of times. And your family's going to hear about it, the friends are going to hear about that, and you're going to be the big villain here. If you would have ended with her years ago, yes, I know you didn't want another guy raising the kids, but you'd be raising the kids part of the time, and at least they could see you being happy. But now everybody's going to find out about this. So you're not the a-hole for wanting to get out. I'm not going to have a problem with that, but what you did was a big mistake. Now, I'm going to read some comments here because it's very mixed, as you can probably imagine, like this. One guy says here, yes, you are the a-hole. Cheating while not wanting to divorce because you didn't want her getting into a new relationship and having another man raise your kids is a piss-poor excuse. You have the benefits of a long-term marriage while getting it on the side. That absolutely makes you the a-hole. Now that she's used up in her usefulness as the mother of the kids, you think you're some kind of victim. You should have left a long time ago. Well, I agree that the cheating wasn't cool and he should have left a long time ago. But I don't think this is all like this individual's making out to be, like you had all the benefits of the long-term marriage. He wasn't enjoying any benefits. And saying that she's used up her usefulness as the mother to your kids. That's not it either. The kids are almost legal adults. That's why he's out. He wanted to wait till they were adults. Now the guy says here, not the a-hole, and it's the shock that you aren't, and it's the shock that you aren't happy that tells me you should get a divorce. She hasn't been intimate with you in 13 years. Usually I'm the one that says no cheating ever. In this case, you are perfectly justified. She spent 13 years ignoring you so much that she didn't notice or care that you weren't being intimate until you said you want a divorce, and now she's trying. By the way, I guarantee you there is no way she's gone this long not getting any. Okay? Unless like she's one of these types that like has no interest whatsoever. There are people like that. But I'm just not buying it. I'm willing to bet you there were things going on behind the scene. But he was too busy with his own affairs to probably even notice. To sum it up, she gives 0 F's about this whole thing. She would continue to give 0 F's if you hadn't dropped the bomb. She has made changes, which means she could have made changes anytime and chose not to because your happiness didn't mean anything to her. She makes an effort now because her own happiness does matter to her. This would actually solidify my decision for divorce if I were you, because she just proved she could have done something years ago and she just didn't give a crap. Right. All this time she could have taken action and everything, but nope, not interested. Now we're back to the a-hole thing. It says here, another one. He goes, you're not the a-hole for wanting to divorce your wife, that's fine. But you are the a-hole for waiting until your kids go to college and then proceeding to have an affair for a huge chunk of years. Of course you're the a-hole. You think your kids are oblivious to your marital problems. Yeah, I guarantee the kids knew. Another one. You are the a-hole for having 3 affairs and not ending it. I don't care what you thought she should have known or understood after therapy. If therapy didn't resolve your issues, you should have told her that you wanted to end the relationship. You can say you wanted to stay so no one else would be raising your kids. Fine, whatever, but you're the a-hole. Leave, don't cheat. I agree and disagree with a lot of these comments. You know, I agree with the whole cheating ain't cool thing, but I also agree that it's a right to get rid of her. You know, and she's no saint. I have a very hard time believing there's no action going on behind the scenes with her. And she knew what she was doing. She knew he was unhappy. Come on. Women know, obviously, guys want to get laid. Anyway, enough with the comments there, but it goes to show you guys how amazing how when he's ready to go and the kids are out of the house and all that, now she knows he's serious, and all of a sudden just like that, all of a sudden super affectionate, wants to hook up every day, blah, blah, blah. Come on here. I mean, the guy, you know, he's done some things I disagree with, but he's not a fool, all right? And after all those years, that's just cruel. She knew he obviously wanted to get romantic, and not romantic, but just hook up. You know, he went to therapy about it, and it's mentioned in the comments section. So, guys, if you are in a relationship, or rephrase that, if you're in a marriage and your wife is zero interested in being affectionate with you at all, and even worse, letting herself go, after you've done everything in your power to try to work on it, the therapy, being patient, talking to her, seeing there's medical issues, all that, if still she's unwilling, at that point, you got every right and my blessing to end the marriage, okay? And, of course, no one wants to hurt their kids. I mean, really, of course not. But if you're that miserable, the kids are going to know. They're going to know mom and dad aren't affectionate, aren't loving each other. And those kids, very, very likely, some, if not all of them, will end up in bad relationships and bad marriages because I think that's normal. I've witnessed this countless times. With kids I've known growing up, seeing their parents and looking back now and seeing the relationships those people I knew got into later in life, so on and so forth. I'm sure you guys have too. So it's best to just end it, as difficult as it is, and work out a better situation. But staying in that situation, no. And I have a hard time believing she wasn't getting any. Let's hear in the comment section. You think in 13 years she wasn't getting any? Let's hear what you think.